Thank you, Scott. A local school focuses on teaching their students the founding principles of America. They say by disciplining them through education. But if you walk through Christian Heritage School in Tyler, you'll notice many teachers aren't originally from America. Fox 51's Kara Pritchard shares how they're taking East Texas abroad in our special report.
I once read a quote that said, "Children are the living messages we send to a time we will not see." So what do we want our countries to look like in 20 years?
It's this question the leaders of Christian Heritage School ask themselves as they try to replicate the model of education from our American founding fathers.
It doesn't look like a great big huge institution of learning from the outside.
In fact, this school is fairly small.
It's an old building. We don't have the newest things, but it's a gem because the students here are learning the truth.
She says they center their teaching around biblical thinking. They clean up their classroom, take out the trash, and say a prayer before the end of each day.
My wife and I consider ourselves to be in a very small percentage of incredibly privileged people to send our kids to a school that the teachers not only are educating them in all the subjects they need to be taught in, but they care about the character of our children.
This campus is a part of a missionary training center.
We moved here in 1980. But our school really started in 1979.
Barbara and her late husband, Dr. James Kilkenny, founded the Christian Heritage School.
What thrills us the most is to see the young people that we educate, to see the change in their lives, step by step by step, as they're learning principles of truth.
While the mission of Christian Heritage School is to teach their students to love God and love America, they say the joys of liberty is not exclusive to Americans. There's more than 13 nations represented here.
When I came to the United States and I began teaching at Christian Heritage School, I learned why Americans are so proud to be Americans.
Vice Principal Jeff Shapansky is originally from Canada. He says when students from other parts of the world hear about God's kindness to this country,
it can give them hope for their own nations too.
In 1980, Mr. Kilkenny launched Teachers for the Nations.
So they started coming by one, by two, by threes, little by little. And then after they spent several years with us, they would go back and they'd start schools in their nation, and then they'd ask us to come and teach their teachers.
So when I go back to Korea, I went to teaching the biblical principle to my student, to next generation.
Amanda will complete the TFN program at the end of this month. She says her country, South Korea, is predominantly Buddhist, and coming to America has taught her how to apply biblical principles in her own life.
They're teaching not only knowledge, and with experience through their life. So really inspired to me.
I'm very thankful, when I look back.
Sherry is also finishing up the program this month. She says her calling is to disciple children and families through education.
Because China education system is like, the parents, they have such expectation on you, you need to do certain things. So I didn't know who I am. I didn't know what my life was about. So that's how God made me where I am, and He found me.
These student teachers are a part of a bigger mission. As they learn their foundation in Tyler, they'll one day take their training back to their countries.
Importante que es cambiar una nación.
In Tyler, I learned about how important it is to change a nation.
Gladys and her husband Ricardo started a Christian Heritage School in Bucaramanga, Colombia.
Our goal is to raise up a generation with a Christian character that will be a blessing to our country, Colombia.
They've built a school and have been training parents and teachers the past 4 years.
Tenemos niños de kinder hasta quinto primaria.
We have children from kindergarten to 5th grade right now.
Their goal is to have a high school and eventually a university, and their relationship with Christian Heritage School in Tyler is consistent. Tatiana and her husband came to Tyler in 2013 and volunteers at CHS.
10 years that I spent teaching in Brazil, I thought I lost my time.
She says she loves East Texas and the school so much so, Her and her husband have decided to stay.
When you see this working together, you see God's character here.
A foundation built on the relevance of Scripture to education.
They'll be lost to another generation unless it's intentionally looked at and understood and passed on to another generation.
But that's their goal at Christian Heritage School, giving back to society by growing leaders in the gospel, one generation and one nation to the next. Kara Pritchard, Fox 51 News, East Texas.
And coming